today's video, it is time to talk a little bit about winds during takeoff and landing operations of an airplane. You know, I think it is a widely known fact that planes typically take off into the wind instead of with tailwind. You know, taking off with a headwind, it gives you a little bit of an airspeed start. You know, the wings that need lift already have a little bit of it when you're taking off with headwind, giving you much better performance on takeoff and also on landing. You know, the goal here is to reduce the actual ground speed for operation. And so here we go, we have a nice picture here. Actually very nice here as well. This shows headwind, no wind, tailwind. Yes, tailwind, that is one that is interesting for operations. Of course, it makes the performance a whole lot worse. You need a longer runway, you need a stronger engine for both. Well, this is a really well explained video here. Headwind, tailwind, higher ground speed, longer ground roll, shallower climb angle, reduced obstacle clearance, all the things we want for a little bit of a challenge. Yes, while it doesn't typically happen, tailwind can be dangerous, as seen here. Runway overrun with 5-knot tailwind that could have been avoided without it. Yes, the typical sight of an overrun, something that can only happen if you're in really bad conditions. Perhaps a tailwind can be one part of it. And so everyone, in today's video, it's time to crash some planes. Welcome to London City. Yes, on the channel we've talked about crosswind before, but we haven't talked about tailwinds. Let's go ahead and add some here. Yes, as you can see right here, as we've moved, we're on the runway 27. So that means we've got to put the direction of the wind directly on the opposite of that. So this is 270 degrees here. You know, the wind is now blowing towards the east. This would give us a head start, a headwind. I mean, we can even add like 150 knots. We could just easily take off this plane that way. There we go. We're already gaining lift here because we've got literal headwind. That is a proper demonstration. Let's get rid of this here, and that's going to crash our plane. Let's add a tailwind, a ballast for our takeoff. Wind from east to west. Let's go ahead and add some wind here indeed. How about like 20 knots, 17 knots? This is what we're talking about. Effective tailwind situation we can try to take off. This is not a long runway, but a runway that the 737 can operate from. Welcome to London City. Here we go. We are gaining a bit of speed, but we can tell the performance is way worse. All right, come on. Oh, it's actually getting close to the end of the runway. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we can see the arrow here. It's pointing directly into our direction. Very bad thing. And we've used a whole lot longer of a runway that we would normally need. We can see that right here. We're moving at 160 knots while our airspeed is only 140. Very much drastically reduced performance. Very nice. Now this has worked, but on smaller runways, this can be a serious issue. I mean, check this out. I mean, it's not a very realistic scenario, but Red St. Barth's, a runway of 10 and a wind of 100, as always times 10. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Normal wind speed here is like 12 knots. This will be great for flying and taking off. We can just immediately do that. We don't even have to do a static takeoff here. And this is really how wind direction makes a proper difference. 120, there we go, 130, there we go. We can take off. We took a little bit of this beach, but we've got a stable climb and a stable speed. Here we go, nice little headwind. Nothing to be worried about, but when you turn the things around, this is definitely gonna not work anymore. Yes, just a simple action of turning the arrow here. There we go, this is roundabout the other direction. There we go, this is now a proper tailwind. Wind is coming from here to here, and this is not gonna be easy. All right, 90 knots, 100 knots. This is a whole lot worse. This is a whole lot worse because we had 12 more knots to get. But we're still alive. And this is really how in tricky situations a tailwind really doesn't play into your cards. But also in real life, this has caused proper runway overruns. We all know the Southwest Airlines flight 1248. This was actually even a fatal crash. You know, this plane actually overran onto a public road. One person was killed in a car. And the reason for that also was, there we go, ground speed was consecutively boosted by tailwind. And I mean, while it doesn't generally happen that tailwind actually crashes the plane because, you know, there's, you know, not a tower for no reason that regulates that. And make sure you always operate into the wind. Let's look at like 70 knots of tailwind. Yes! This is exactly what I want to see. Let's take off and have the 747 struggle. Seriously. This is a plane that would normally be able to take off on this runway, even though it's relatively short of a runway, but totally going to be fine. Let's go full power in this plane. Okay, ground speed 30 knots. Not showing up here. Only at 70 knots, we will start to actually gain airspeed, which is ridiculous. Here we go. 30 knots, 40 knots. We're moving fast, but not at all fast enough for this plane to gain lift. Like, I mean, okay, the 70 knots in real life the whole world would literally die, but looking fine. And we're starting to gain a bit of airspeed. There we go. After a substantial overrun, this has turned out very well. Now, the same goes, of course, for landing. Now, we are here in the Côte d'Azur de France, and we're looking at a lot of wind speed here as well. 80 knots here, looking great. It's all very nice and tail heavy. Nice gust as well. The ocean is going crazy for sure. And we've got a nice little difference between ground speed and airspeed. Check this out. 280 knots of ground. Well, 190 of air. I mean, the 747 is comfortable landing at 140 knots. That plus 80 means we'll have to land at over 200 knots. Right. It also is super hard to lose airspeed. 180, 170, like this is super slow of a loser. Come on, stop, please. All right, there we go. Now that's been a nice landing. It's time now to reverse thrust. Come on, stop this plane. Also, you know, landing is a bit hard with the tailwind, you know, getting the proper angle for the flare. But despite this, I think this has been a very nice landing. Super, super fast. I've never done this as quickly. Quite butterly, actually. Really funny. So that's been great. Come on, stop. I also need a longer runway for stopping, that is for sure. But something I want to try now is do the unflyable. Yes, I don't want this plane to be in the air. So let's go ahead and just put it like to 150 knots, the maximum we can give, with gusts up to 300 knots, which is totally fine. So let's do this. Yes, for this plane to be actually able to take off, we need like 300 knots, like build up on the runway. All right, 27, 20, 30. It's gonna be a very bad idea, I can already tell. Is this working? We are right now at 100, like 200 knots. Hold on, why is this working so well? Hold on, we can take off in a second. We want more knots. Help! Hold on, this is actually worked. Okay, we're Jesus. Okay, I mean, you know, Nice Airport isn't the longest of runways, but Jesus Christ, that's worked a whole lot better than I would have thought. Like, we are able to fly, very much barely. This plane is struggling, especially climbing performance sucks. This thing is barely staying in midair. I mean, we are looking at apocalyptic circumstances, but still, this thing actually works pretty well. Come on, can we get above the mountain, please? Thing is, when we turn to the right with 150 knots, this is literally going to crash the plane. It's a drift. Great, actually. You know what? I'm not disappointed at all. We've got a huge lagging going on. Thank you very much, computer. So, everybody, that is the wind theory of flying. Don't fly into tailwind, otherwise you're probably not going to crash, but be more likely to do that. So, yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching today's beautiful video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, good night. Now, thank you very much to my highly supporting members like Jamie Ashton, Mike C, James Duram, Ragings, Met RLG, Matt Fan Z, Moritz, Bellhausen, Knots Enthusiast, Shadow, New York, Ryland Williams, Kelly Chaos, John O'Brien, and I'm addicted to Airbus A380s. Thank you.